Hello, and welcome to Let's Play Nioh. I'm Tolvo. I will be your captain today as we go into the introduction of Nioh.
Amrita. Some call it a miraculous stone. The Philosopher's Stone. The Queen of England remains locked in combat. With Spain, the country where the sun never sets, for control of the entire world. Her forces weakening with every battle. The Queen and her inner circle turn to divination and alchemy, hiring pirates like us to find Amrita for them. With that power, they managed to defeat the invincible Spanish Armada. But now it seems they want to keep their methods a secret. It seems death won't stop chasing me.
Welcome to Nioh. This is William Adams. William Adams is an actual historical figure. He was a Welsh pirate who ended up landing in Japan in, I believe it was 1558. This intro takes place during 1558, I would assume earlier in the year. And yes, we just had to punch our way through a fucking wall. Unlike Dark Souls, where you get a weapon at the start, you have to defeat your first enemy in Nioh with your bare hands. I have already taken a damage. That is going to show off just how this LP series will be going. I'm not perfect at this game. I will be taking damage every now and then. You'll see me often dodge after I do a few strikes. That is because of an ability that you get later in the game. I'm used to having it. I don't have it yet. William is stuck in his underwear for now. You actually can get different underwear later in the game. I don't know how to unlock it, I just know I have. And a bit of my obsessive compulsive disorder showing in games again of me opening every door. even when there's nothing beyond them. Our first bit of clothes. This game, of course, has an armor system. I'll be showing off all sorts of different sets of armor and looks. Medicine, or elixirs as they're called later in the game, are there to help heal you. They're not like Estus flasks, they're a bit more akin to blood vials, or the grasses from Demon Souls and Bloodborne. There will be some comparisons in this LP to the Soulsborne games, as they're a bit similar and I'm a big fan of them. The start to this game is a bit simple. It's actually, in my opinion, a bit harder because you don't have your abilities, your stances, you don't really have any of the tools that you need, you just have basic combos and basic weapons. I thought that was a cutscene because of something that's going to happen later on. I forgot exactly where it was. Also, blocking is still useful in Nioh. You don't have a shield, but you can block with your weapon. That's something, again, historically, that was done. You could use your weapon to block with. Traditionally, you would not want to do that with something like a katana, though, because katana are a bit more fragile than Western swords. That doesn't mean they would just shatter on a strike, but they would more easily chip and get damaged. What you would more often want to do is redirect a blow. It's akin to a lot of what you see in judo. You don't want to block a hit, you want to redirect it. This is a shrine. These are the saving points in the game. They'll also be where you level up and do a lot of different things, like do online play, change your guardian spirit. We just have the simplified version right here. Sometimes in Nioh it can be hard to tell, but there are invincibility frames when you dodge. They're just very slim. Slim pickings for invincibility frames in this game. Also a little top hat. For now, I will not be wearing the top hat, but if people want me to, later on I will. So in the game, there are 5 different types of main weapons. There's swords, there's dual swords, there's spears, there's axes, and then there's the kusarigama. The sword is a sword. The spear is a spear. Most of them you probably know what they are, except the kusarigama. The kusarigama is basically a small scythe or sickle with a chain and a weight on the end. It's traditionally associated with ninjas. This game is a lot about samurai, ninjas, and then mages, or as they're called, Nioh mages, who fight the demons in Japan.
There's only a limited amount of Amrita we can extract from this country, Kelly.
Indeed, the pirates have served their purpose.
The death of the leader of Japan will spark a war, and a wonderful opportunity to acquire more Amrita.
Once tomorrow's execution takes place, we will get our hands on a compass that will lead us to that Amrita.
With enough Amrita, we could subdue Spain, perhaps even the world.
The day when England reigns supreme is near.
But our beloved queen thinks of Amrita as nothing more than gold or gemstones.
We must find them before our nation's rivals do.
Edward Kelly, you will go to Japan. It seems it would be to our advantage to keep the wars alive.
We cannot gain Amrita if blood does not flow.
And there we saw a mysterious figure. His name is Edward Kelly. He is someone who knows a lot about Amrita. Amrita are effectively the souls of the game. They're a currency. What you saw in the intro pretty much gives you the gist of things, with England searching out for Amrita so that they can have more power in their war against Spain, with Queen Elizabeth I wanting more Amrita and searching for it, and pirates being sent out to get it, with us William being one of said pirates who are now being executed to keep it a secret. This game will feature a lot of little shortcuts like this, of areas where you can open doors from the other side, keys to unlock special paths, ladders to kick down so that you can get to areas quicker, or to avoid enemies and have safer paths. Sometimes human enemies can be a bit predictable. If you just sit there and wait for them to drop their guard, you can just hit them right as soon as they drop it, because of their attacks won't be fast enough to take advantage of you standing in front of them. There are also a lot of little hidden boxes that carry treasure in every area of the game. Loot is very important in Nioh. Something else important in Nioh is the fact that dying happens. You will be seeing me die multiple times as this LP goes on. I'll edit out deaths that are pointless, but any funny ones or educational ones I'll keep in. The game, again, functions a bit like Dark Souls in that you leave your guardian spirit behind where you die. You don't in the intro, but in the rest of the game you will. It'll contain your Amrita, and if you collect it before dying again, you can get it all back. Enemies can have ranged weapons. In this intro, we'll mostly be seeing crossbows, and then some matchlock weapons later on. Matchlock weapons were a pretty big deal during this time period. Some don't realize that guns were introduced this early, but in Japan they were already introduced by this point even. You also have China, and China has had guns and black powder for so long. But back to ranged weapons, most of them you can just block. The beginning of this game is a bit darker in this area than you'll see in most points. I don't have the best of vision and will struggle seeing in dark areas. If you've played Demon Souls, you would know of the Tower of Latria. That is the bane of my existence, is not even the enemies in that area, it's just falling through holes I can't see. Over through this pathway, there are two knights wearing armor. I'm going to completely avoid them because if it's a needless fight that's very hard. The main point of it is that you can fight them to get their armor, but I'm not looking to be wearing plate armor. Armor in this game is pretty important. You have light, medium, and heavy armor. Light armor generally has the lowest defense, but lets you gain stamina back faster and uses up less stamina for dodging and things. Medium is in the middle, and then heavy armor is generally allowing you to take more hits, but at the cost of moving more slowly and of having slower stamina regeneration.
Ronin is down and outwards. That's what they're trying to do to all of us who fought for Queen and country.
His body just split in two. Oh God! You wanted to kill me from the start.
Here is the first knight that will actually fight. It should be said that during this period of time, knight armor like this was much less common. With the introduction of firearms to warfare, armor became less useful. Armor can withstand early bullets. It can take a hit, but you would possibly have your ribs broken from a single shot. And then a second one might just kill you outright. It was far less cost-effective and useful. And when it comes to warfare, being cost-effective is one of the most important things. Being able to arm as many people as possible is very important, and being able to train people to use weaponry. You have to actually be trained to use armor. You can't just simply put it on and know every aspect of how to fight with it. And introducing our first boss, Derek the Executioner. Not a very impressive name. I don't know what he was doing standing up there waiting for us to come to the specific tower that for some reason we're climbing to. This is his first phase, which is pretty simple. You mostly just want to move out of the way of his charges and then run in and hit him.
It's you. The man with the guardian spirit.
If I die, the secret of the stones dies with me.
Let me show you what these stones can do. Behold. It's time for your execution.
Now Derek is back and tougher than ever. He is actually similar to a common enemy we'll be seeing in the game, which is the yokai. I don't know the specific name of them, but they're like ogres. In this mode, Derek is a lot stronger and can one-shot you, like so. Grapples are the bane of my existence. Some enemies have them and they can be pretty fast. You can tell if it's a grapple if you see black and white mist/fire around their hand. Grapples can be pretty frustrating because of... I almost don't see a point for them in this game. I get for breaking through guards, so you can't just guard against everything. But the actual aspect of the grapple's damage, it should almost just be a shot that just one-shots you. Because most grapples will one-shot you. Also, for those who like to listen to my puppies when I do LPs, I'm afraid they're not with me today. But in the future, we will probably be getting some puppy noises. In Nioh, sometimes don't be afraid to block. You don't need to take hits that are unnecessary. Also time for the living weapon.
Well done. Quite a feat. So, this spirit shall guide me to the kingdom of gold.
The journey was not an enjoyable one. During 2 years' voyage, the Helloff was lost. The trow sank, while the hope vanished without a trace. The good news of the Blythe Boatshap was nothing but lies. Only Leifta remained. An ironic twist. For what awaited us in the Far East wasn't love. It was monsters and death.
Now, for this LP, I will be taking suggestions for what shall be my secondary weapon. My first weapon will be the sword, the katana. But the secondary weapon can be dual sword, spear, axe, or kusari gama. And that's up for you to decide. I also leave in these little bits of loading screens and text so that you can read them. But that is episode 1 of Let's Play Nioh. In the next episode, we'll be getting to the main game and more of the meat of what goes on. But this is Tolvo, and I'll see you next time.